a memory from your childhood you thought was innocent, but later came back to haunt you? When I was 8, I used to spend almost every afternoon in the woods behind our house. It wasn't a big forest, just a patch of trees, a narrow creek, and the remnants of an old wooden fence. But to me, it felt like another world. My parents didn't like me going too far in. My mom always said there used to be an old farm there, owned by a man who never left. I thought she was just trying to keep me close to the house. One summer day, while digging by the creek, I noticed something sticking out of the dirt under a cluster of roots. It was a small wooden door, no taller than a notebook, worn and carved with spirals and little lines. It looked hand-carved and somehow deliberate. At 8, I thought I had found something magical. A fairy door. I brushed it clean, talked to it, and made up stories about what might live inside. The next day, I brought a marble and left it by the door as a gift. When I came back the following morning, the marble was gone. I thought that was incredible. I started leaving more things. Small toys, a button, a piece of candy. Every time I came back, whatever I left was missing. Then one morning, something new was there. A folded piece of paper, old and crinkled, sitting where I'd left a coin the day before. I opened it, expecting to find a blank scrap or maybe some dirt. But inside, written in messy, uneven handwriting, was a single word: thanks. I ran home, proud and excited, and showed my mom. But the second she saw it, she froze. She took it out of my hands, threw it into the fireplace, and said, "Don't go back to those woods." Her voice wasn't angry. It was scared. I didn't understand, and like any kid, I ignored her. A few days later, I went back. I whispered an apology near the door, left one of my toy soldiers beside it, and walked away. The next morning, it was gone. In its place was another note: play later. That night, I woke up to a sound, tapping, soft and slow against my bedroom window. We lived on the second floor. No trees close enough for a branch to reach. The tapping went on for almost a minute before it stopped. I was too scared to look. The next morning, there were small, muddy footprints under the window. Bare footprints, about the size of a child's hand. I told my dad, and he said it was just raccoons. But raccoons don't make footprints shaped like that. But curiosity got the better of me. For a while, I stayed away from the woods. One afternoon, I went back to check on the little door. It wasn't in the ground anymore. It was standing upright against a tree, clean and dry like someone had dug it up. When I crouched to look inside, it was pitch black, but I swear I heard something moving, breathing. I ran home, and that night, the tapping came back, only louder this time. When I finally looked, the window was cracked open. Lined up neatly along the sill were every single thing I'd ever left by that door: the marble, the button, the coin, the toy soldier, all of them. We moved out a few months later. My parents said my dad got a new job, but I always suspected there was another reason. I didn't think about that door again for nearly 20 years. Then last year, I went back to my hometown for a friend's wedding. Out of curiosity, I drove past our old house and ended up parking by the old trail that led to the woods. Most of it was overgrown, but the creek was still there, shallow and quiet. I found the spot easily, and to my surprise, the door was still there, half buried, cracked with age, but unmistakably the same. I don't know why, but I lifted it. Underneath was a shallow hole filled with scraps of paper, dozens of them. I picked one up, careful not to tear it. The handwriting was faint but familiar. It said, "I missed you." I froze. My hands started shaking. I dropped the paper and stood up. That's when I noticed movement between the trees. Something small watching me. I backed away slowly, then turned and ran. When I reached my car, there were muddy fingerprints on the driver's door. 5 small ones pressed neatly in a row. I didn't tell anyone. I just drove home, trying to convince myself it was a coincidence. But when I got home that night, my window was open again. And on the sill, covered in dirt, sat a single blue marble, the same one I'd left by that little wooden door 20 years ago. And right before I closed the window, I heard it. That same soft tapping coming from the inside.